Hello everybody, hello and welcome. I am Dan, your friendly fishmonger at dansfish.com. We do this live stream every Wednesday. It's 7 p.m. Mountain Time, that's 9 Eastern for those of you who might be mountain challenged. We start off with a shipping report. We tell you how shipping fish around the nation has gone. That's what our business is. We are dansfish.com. You can order fish there. We'll ship them right out to you. And we tell you every week how we did. After that, I have a giveaway to talk to you about, and then I have a presentation all lined up for you. The fish that you folks saw in the unboxing video a while ago, we are gonna, those have been listed. They're ready for sale. Their 2-week quarantine will officially be done before our next shipping date. So we went ahead and listed those for sale. And so we'll go over that and show you some awesome new fish that we have in stock. And then we'll get to your questions and comments and just geek out about aquarium fish and all that. So that is the docket for the day. So let's start with the shipping report. The shipping report is this. Our last losses that were reported were 3 gold dwarf barbs on August 30th. Last Wednesday they were reported, but after I already started the live stream is when I got the info, so I didn't talk about them then. So 3 gold dwarf barbs, which are hardy little fish. It's a little surprising that we would lose those, but apparently we did. But what that means is so far this month, I believe I'm correct in saying we have had no losses in shipping. I don't think in September there's been a single loss. Now, please call me out if I'm wrong. If you're someone who received fish from us and you had a loss and you reported it in an email, then call me out. Say, nope, you missed one, because I want to be accurate about this. If you didn't report it, of course, I wouldn't know. But if you did report it and I just missed it, please call me out. But I believe it's true. I believe that for the month of September, we have not had a single loss in shipping, which... part of the reason I'm asking for you to call me out if I'm wrong is I hardly believe it. Like, I want to make sure that's true before I get too excited, right? Oh, here's a comment I meant to put in earlier. And curtain, I meant to do that before I went live. Whoops. All right. So that's the shipping report. That's about as darn good as you can have. So I'm very excited about that. If it's true, which I believe it is, but I'm just asking you guys to double check me. I want to be accurate about that before I make a big claim like that. The other thing is we have adjusted the settings. Hopefully what you're seeing on your end looks just a little better, just a little brighter, just a little step up from where the whole image has been the last few weeks. We're brand new to doing a green screen. And so we've been messing with settings and all that to try and make it as good as it can get. We still need to do some things. There's some more lighting we need to put in, and just haven't been able to get to that yet. But hopefully it looks okay. I know when I look down like this to read the comments that my eyes go really dark, so that bothers me. I'm still working on that. And I know I've got a little green sheen around on my little bald head where the little hairs peek out because my little hairs like to soak up the green from the screen that's behind me right now. But hopefully it's just a little better every week. So that's what we're working on. All right, it looks like no one is saying that I missed a problem. So I think that's true. I think that indeed we've had no losses in September. That's awesome. We're constantly, you look good in green, says Adam's Electric Universe. Thank you. We are constantly trying to improve our methods and our quality control. And so we have implemented some new safeguards and quality control to make sure that there's always multiple sets of eyeballs on every fish before it goes out the door. Up till now, there's been a little bit of chance. There is a small chance that if you pulled the fish, if you selected the fish from the aquarium and put it in the bag, and then the next day, if you happened to be the one that washed that fish and sealed that fish up and put it in the box, if all those things happened, it's possible that only one person saw that fish. And we want each fish that's going out to be seen by multiple people. So there's multiple checks on it. So we've implemented some things to make that happen. And I think they're going to work well. Move forward from the screen. I can't. The problem is it's real close behind me, so this is as far forward as I can get. I'm sucking in my gut, and the desk, the computer desk, is like pushing into my gut right here, and I'm still green. So yeah, and here's me back by the screen. So I just need to set it up a little different, move the screen back and all that. The problem is there's a massive 125-gallon aquarium behind the screen, and that's not easy to move. So got to get a time when there can be, 4 to 6 people helping us on that thing. That thing is heavy. So we got to move that so we can move the green screen. So anyway, it's a whole thing. Let's move on from the shipping report to the giveaway. This is one of my favorite platies ever. Not my absolute favorite, but a close runner-up, I think, to my favorite, which is the yellow Calico Platy, neon yellow Calico Platy. Similar to this, but these guys have this beautiful, did I mention beautiful pattern, just this red and the blue with this nice calico. Not a rare fish or anything, but a beautiful fish. The one that I fondly look at as I walk around the fish warehouse. I often stop and am drawn by that fish. Oops, sorry, my phone just went off. I forgot to set it to silent. Let's do that now. There we go. So, if you would like to win a platy, or not one platy, some platies, we'll send you a little group of platies, then just enter, it's as easy as it gets. Hashtag Platy, hashtag Platy, no spaces, caps don't matter. Enter that into the chat, and you'll automatically be entered to win, and we'll draw the winner in a little bit. So I don't feel like I need to go into a whole lot of care instructions or anything about the platy, because Xiphophorus maculatus is one of the most common fish in the hobby. Most people are familiar with it, but in case you're not, it's a spunky little live bearer. It's not aggressive, and it does well in most community aquariums with appropriate sized peaceful fish. So it's hard to go wrong with a platy. I'm sure there's a fish here or there that a real specialized fish that you wouldn't want to keep it fit with, like maybe a toothpick fish or something like that. But besides a real outlier, they can go with almost anything, as most of you know. So part of why I wanted to give away the platies tonight is because I wanted to get right into showing you some amazing new fish that that we have in. Okay, are you ready? You saw them in the unboxing. Now they're colored up and looking beautiful. Here they are. So here's one. This is one of those new fancy pencil fish that has just been brought in over the last few months. Very, very new. Very expensive. The reason that they're new is they live way out in the jungle. They're not on the beaten path. And so in order to collect them, you have to rent a boat, and you have to trek up river, and then you have to get out and walk and walk and walk. And so because they're difficult to source, the price is really high. That and the fact that they're new. They're not being produced at all in aquariums yet in any numbers. The industry hasn't produced any. So numbers are really low, demand is high, and collection is difficult. So that's a good combination to ensure a high price tag. But they're beautiful. Oliver Lucanus, in this great video he did, calls them the really red pencil fish because he's trying to differentiate them from the red pencil fish or the red coral pencil fish. So really red pencil fish is what he's going with. We're calling them, I think, really red pencil fish as well, because Oliver coined it, from Rio Amaya. So we don't have pictures yet of this fish on our site, but we do have the fish available. So what that means is, in order to find them, go to the end. It's about page 4. When the pictures run out, fish without pictures are then listed. So if you go down there, you'll see the really red pencil fish from Rio Amaya. Or you can just type pencil in the search, and that'll show you all the different pencil fish we have, including the really red pencil fish from Rio Amaya. The other one you see here, the Tenepa, or Cenepa, I suppose, red pencil fish, is not that one, is this one. And we also have this one. Absolutely beautiful. Nice red on the body. No stripe through the middle like you might have in the Morton Thaleri or the Rubro caudatus. Is that the purple pencil fish, I think? Really beautiful. So both of these species I'm enjoying very, very much. And we have them available. Now, they're expensive. And our price is more expensive than most. And the reason for that is because of how we source them. So if you watched the unboxing we did the other day, you noticed how lightly they were packed. So our shipping costs when we bring fish in are double to triple to sometimes quadruple what they are for everyone else in the industry, because we ask our suppliers to pack very lightly. We say, hey, if you usually put 200 fish in that bag, please only put 50 or 100 or whatever works for that fish, depending on the size bag they have and other factors. So if you watch that unboxing we released a few days ago, you'll see almost all the fish, with the exception of like the mollies. I felt like the mollies were a bit overpacked, and maybe one other or something, but almost all the fish, there were very few fish in the bag per quantity of water. So lightly packed. We do that because that is the way, that's the least stressful way to ship a fish. And you build up less toxins, ammonia and other thing in the bag if you do it that way. And you don't end up with the ammonia burn and all the fallout that happens over the next few weeks if you get ammonia burn. And it's serious. Ammonia burn is serious. The fish might arrive alive, they might even look okay, but the tissues have been damaged by the ammonia, and over the next few weeks the fallout will happen. The secondary bacterial infections will happen, the protozoan infections will happen, and it's a mess. So we source differently, and that's why we're more expensive than everyone else, because we pay a lot more shipping than other folks do. So just so you know why we're expensive, in case you're unfamiliar with the channel, I have a whole video on it that plays automatically on our YouTube channel if you, and it's also the top of our webpage if you want to get the details of what we do and why we do it. Anyway, moving on. These little guys are delightful. This is the dwarf wood cat. They only get about 3 inches, and they're spunky little, like, look at this. It's just like the cutest little fish ever. I think these guys are fantastic. We did a walkthrough, I think it was yesterday, might have been the day before, checked their health and everything, and they looked good. There was one in the tank that had a bit of a pinched belly, but everyone else I checked looked fantastic. So I think these are good to go. By the way, all these fish I'm showing you have been through a treatment regimen that we came up with a veterinarian helping us. They go under a regimen for a week to 2 weeks where we eliminate the parasites from them. So they've been through that. A lot of these are fish that came out of the wild, so we need to be really careful with that and make sure we don't pass parasites on to you. But that happens in farm-raised fish as well, and aquarium-raised fish as well. There's way more parasites than you would ever imagine. So it's important to clean them up. Corridors agassizii. This is a beautiful little spotted cory. I love the pattern on these guys. I think they're just a neat little beautiful fish. Wow, that must be the type specimen in alcohol. Isn't that scary? I prefer them alive. We have some sailfin silver mollies. Beautiful fish, but probably doesn't need a lot of explanation because most folks here will know about mollies. Then there's maybe Hyphesobrycon mete. There's the mete, and then there's a new species. So they're kind of different. I think the one we have is something like this, but gonna have to get a little better look at them to know for sure. But judging by the price, they're one of the newer ones that's coming out. They're discovering new species of tetras, characins, all the time. And when they first discover them and collect them, the price is pretty high because the trade routes aren't established and all that stuff. So what happens is I go through the list, and if I see a new tetra, I tend to bring it in, unless I do research and find out, ooh, this one's aggressive, like this is a miniature wolf fish or something like that. But I tend to want to bring them in. And one clue I have as I go down the list is I look at price, and if the price is high, then I know, oh, this is probably something new, and then I research that fish. If it's, you know, the bread and butter that have been in the industry forever, those prices are really low. So it's kind of this really low. Those prices are much lower than the newly discovered fish. So it's kind of a hack I do as I go through the list looking for interesting stuff. I'm like, well, what's expensive? Oh, that's expensive. Why? Usually because it's new. Some full gold guppies, beautiful guppy. And then these guys. Homoloptera is this beautiful genus of hillstream loaches. A kind of hillstream loach that didn't develop the full suction cup, right? This looks much more similar to a regular loach than a suction cuppy one, than a pseudogastromyzon or gastromyzon or Sewellia or one of those. The one that we have, we believe, is Ocelota. Never available. There's one picture right here. I think this is like maybe a preserved specimen, or a specimen being used for science. So it's hard to show you exactly what they look like, but if you like interesting hillstream loaches, we've got one in that I've never seen before. All right, albino yellow cobra guppies. If you like yellow cobra guppies, here's the albino form. Some Nerite snails. Aquadens diadema, the royal acara. What I like about these is that even from the get-go, even the first moment they were in the tanks, they had nice, interesting color and pattern. Now, they're not fully colored up by any means. When they are, they're absolutely stunning. But even when they're not fully colored up, they're still a decent-looking fish because they have this black band and black stripe, half band, I should say, and stripe on them. So, yeah, I think they're awesome, even when they're not feeling dominant, even when they're settling in. The hummingbird tetra, nice little group of these guys in. Basically a glass fish with some color. So really neat, interesting little kerosene. Ours are pretty small, but they're eating well. They're doing great for us. Hemigrammus species orange. I have yet to see these in all their glory. I honestly am not sure why they call them species orange. They have a little red in the tail, but this is my first time with them, so I don't know that much about them. Other than they're new, they're a little pricey because they're new, and it's my first time with them. So, cool fish, looks a lot like this. I think this is a pretty accurate picture of the fish with the little red in the tail and then that color of body. So, I don't know though, maybe in another week it'll turn a different color. L204 plecos, the flash pleco. Beautiful group of these, doing fantastic for us. And then we have some mustard spot plecos, which are another neat fish. We have some other stuff that we'll be listing as well tomorrow. We didn't get everything up today, I don't believe. Just ran out of time. Today was our busiest shipping day ever. We shipped more fish today than we've ever shipped before in a single day. So, as you can imagine, with all that going on, we're a little behind on getting all the pictures up and fish listed and things. So, yeah. Oh, Jacob Allen says the pictures are super fuzzy on their end. I would encourage you to refresh or check and see how high the video quality is that you're watching. It might be down at like 240 or something, and you would need to raise it up. Okay, let's see here. Something else to show you. Last thing here. I promise we'll we'll get on with things soon. There's more that we listed that does have pictures. We do have more of the orange autosynclus. These ones come from Corrientes. So they're a little different, I believe, than the ones we had before. Some more of the orange rabbit snails, gold sailfin mollies, really nice looking batch of those. Some more snails. We do have more Siamese algae eaters, the true ones. And then even a little prettier, I think, than the true Siamese algae eater is this, the spot tail algae eater. Same genus, same behavior. They both eat algae. These guys, they just have these little like checkerboard pattern on the scales, I guess you would call it, that I like. And they have these kind of lemon yellow fins. So just a different flavor, depending on the one that you're most drawn to. We got more diamond tetras listed, more chili rasboras. We do have some more of the hyphen sonky swordtails. Nice group of rainbow shiners and a really nice group of Julii cories. Well, trilineatus, right? So Corridors trilineatus. I think this is the best looking group of trilineatus we've ever got in. And I mean that. They look fantastic. Finally got more of the platinum rummy nose tetras in for those who've been waiting. Finally got more of the neon blue red eyes. Red neon blue eyes, Pseudomilga luminatus, the gold rose lines, and Morgenthaleri, red coral pencilfish. So if you like fancy pencilfish, but you're like, ooh, those Cenepa and those really reds are, twice that price. That's real expensive. These are a middle option. You have the inexpensive pencilfish like Beckfordi, Equus, I would put in that group, Marginatus, Trilineatus. Then you have this mid-range, which is your Morgenthaleri, red coral pencilfish, and your Rubrocaudatus, I think, or is it Caudalis? Anyway, the purple pencilfish, around 25 to 30 bucks, somewhere in that range. And then you have the really expensive ones, but because they're new, they're exciting, they're hard to collect. The collection routes for these guys are pretty well established now, so they've come down in price quite a bit. So kind of middle of the road. Best group of green line lizard tetras we've ever had. These came in better than I've ever seen, and we haven't had any issues with them at all. So those are doing good, and Congo spotted puffers. So that's a bit of what is fairly new at the website. So if anything tickles your fancy, we do sell fish for a living. They're available at dansfish.com. And we always appreciate it when we get orders, because then we can stay in business. I mean, bottom line, we don't sell fish, we don't stay in business. So you might have noticed a lot more content being released on the YouTube channel. We're getting down and dirty with our YouTube production. So we have more coming out. And if you're bored and need some fishy content, we've got plenty up in the last couple weeks or so. So check it out if you haven't. All right, with that, let's get to your questions and comments. Let's find out what's going on in your neck of the woods. I want to thank my moderators for being here, monitoring chat, and volunteering their time to make this stream successful. Appreciate everything you guys do to help us out. Jacob Allen says, I bought 2 pairs of metal black guppies, a breed and bred about 100, so they're getting close to maturity. Doesn't seem to have the metal markings. I'm assuming it's hard to breed true. Thoughts? Thank you. Yeah, I'm not sure. The ones we've bred the black metals and the blue metals here. I mean, we didn't try to, but they had babies, and so we raised them up, right? I think we've raised, 30 of one and maybe a dozen of the other. And they seem to be pretty true to the parents. So I guess my first question is, did you get them from us? In which case, I'm not sure, because in our experience, they tend to breed true. If you got them somewhere else, then it depends on the line and how well it's been worked. So if the line is getting established and hasn't been worked completely, then there can be a lot of variation in the babies. So I'm not super familiar with the metal guppies. So I can't go deep on that with you, other than to say in our experience, they bred true. So let me know, Jacob Allen, if you got them from us. If you did, then I apologize. I wonder if, you know, someone had some funky genes in the few you got, and if you didn't, it's just about how well the strain is established. Or maybe they do need to mature just a little more before you really see it. That's another possibility. So let's see, that was Jacob Allen. I'm going to write this down. Jacob Allen. Metal guppies. So when you respond, when I see it in 20 minutes, I'll remember what we were talking about. Otherwise, I will forget. Todd Geis. The pearl blue parrotfish are looking awesome and growing fast. Thank you so much. Oh, I'm glad to hear it, Todd. I hope you enjoyed them as much as we do. Such fun little spunky pets. Parrotfish, polar parrots, blue polar parrots, red parrots, they do make personable little pets, I think. Joe Manetta, if your average births, shrimp, libraries, etc., and deaths in shipping, if you average, do you think an average customer would receive more or less fish than you sent? Oh. I don't know. Our 6-month running total is around 99%. I think just over 99% success. Our 12-month running total is slightly less than that. I don't know. I don't know how many guppies and shrimp and things give birth in the bag, but I'm going to say we're probably, I don't know. I'd have to crunch the data to know for sure. But if it's a shrimp species like a cherry shrimp or a blue dream or something like that, that's, you know, not crazy rare or whatever, and we're producing it ourselves, we tend to send some extra. So even though we really don't have a lot of losses on those at all, just because it's like, well, we've got them, we're breeding them, so they aren't really costing us too much. So let's do that. So if I consider that, you know what, I'm going to say that we're probably a little bit better than what we send. Yeah, I think customers generally end up receiving more fish than we send in shrimp if we put the shrimp in the equation. Because when those shrimp give birth, they're giving birth to large numbers of babies, and they give birth frequently. So I'm going to go with that. I think we're coming out a little ahead, or the customer's coming out a little ahead across the board. That's my guess. Daniel McNamara, the Corridors Delphax you have in stock are some of the most playful, fun to watch cories I've gotten in a long time. I'm glad you like them. Yeah, I was thrilled with those. So we have struggled off and on getting healthy cories and plecos and autos, of the different varieties of autos. It's been a years-long process figuring out how to get those in, where to get them from, how to care for them and medicate them so that they do well long term. So that was one of the first groups of cories that we were lucky enough to have a veterinarian here in residence when we had them. And so we were able to really fine-tune our protocol. And after we would try one protocol, have a veterinarian test some fish and see how well it worked. And if it didn't work well, okay, let's try a different protocol. And we got to the point where I think nothing's 100%, especially when you're dealing with medication. Like even in humans, we're not even close to 100% success, right? But we're getting to the point where it's really fun to bring in wild cories and plecos now, because we know how to handle them. So kind of that angst of, oh, are they going to do okay? Are we going to be fine with these? Is mitigated a lot. So I'm glad to hear that yours are doing well and that you like them. Yeah, that's a solid group of cories, those Delphax. Big Cat, what is your favorite kind of Bujurkina? Okay, what is a Bujurkina? I don't even know what that is. Let's see, that's a cichlid of some kind? I don't know if I've ever kept one of these. I don't have a favorite. That's a group of fish that I don't believe I've ever kept. I'm not very familiar with those at all. If Thanks for bringing a new group of fish to my mind. That's awesome. I love it when I learn something new. That often happens in the live streams. It's great. Tom, where are you in Wyoming? I'm in Sheridan. I just accepted a PhD at UW. I'll be moving from Florida. Oh man, that's going to be a temperature difference. Towards the end of the year, can I come by fish in person? Yeah, so you'll be down in Laramie at UW, so you're 5 hours away or so. But yes, send us a message when you want to come up. We need to schedule that, but just let us know and we can schedule that, sure. I think we're worth a trip up. It's an interesting place, if I do say so myself. Spendthrift Aquatics, I love that name. That's a great name. Paul Soltero, any word on female dichrosis availability? No. Johnny, do you know? I don't know if Johnny's here right now, but I'm not sure. Did I say I would look at that and totally forget? Let me look at that. Checkerboard cichlus. Board, I'm writing it down. Females, question mark. Paul Soltero. I wrote it down this time, so there's a 50% chance that I'll actually remember to do it this time. I will try. Trevor's Tactics. Hey, I'm a little late. No worries. I just bought some mountain red belly dace. Oh, nice. Good choice. Excellent choice. Could you go over how they are set up in your tanks or basics to the care? Not sure if I need circulation pump or not. So it depends on how you do your maintenance, but they're a pretty hardy fish. You do want to keep the water clean. So you don't want ammonia or nitrite, and you definitely don't want a ton of nitrates building up. They come from fairly clean streams. But I've kept them long-term in a tank with just a sponge filter before. I believe that could have been mountain red belly or could have been southern red belly. I'm not remembering for sure. This was like years ago. But the red belly dace in general, as long as you keep the water clean, if you have a vigorously running sponge filter, they'll probably be okay. But they will appreciate some current in the tank. So I would say, do you have to have a circulation pump? No. But I think it would be cool to watch them as they work their way through the current and stuff of a circulation pump. I would just set it up so that if the circulation pump's on this end, so that as it comes over, after coming over about a third of the way or half of the way, I would have like a big rock or big piece of decor here to kind of break that flow up. So that if the fish did want to get out of the flow, they can go behind that. You'll see fish do this in nature all the time. There's a rock or something, they'll go on the, is it the lee edge? I don't know these terms, but they'll go on the edge opposite the way the water's coming, and kind of the water's coming this way. They'll tuck down below the rock just to like get out of the flow a little bit, and it's just, you know, not as much work to hang out there. So I think that would be the ultimate. Besides that, well, even they don't even have to have that though. I think they're a pretty hardy fish, especially these. These are aquarium bred and raised F1 fish, so they're pretty used to aquariums. And they eat anything. Jacob Metzner, hey Jacob, good to hear from you. Hey Dan, wanted to give a shout out to Aquaden's Diadema, or is it Diadema? Whoa, Royal Acar, an amazing cichlid I've been keeping since I got into the hobby in middle school. I love them. Very aggressive to conspecifics. Oh, that's good to know. Are they more aggressive than mete? Because I found I can mitigate it with mete if I just have a lot of hiding places and stuff in there. And if I keep them in large groups, then the mete do great. Hunter McLaren, congratulations on your busiest day ever. Yeah, honestly, I love y'all and I love doing this stream, but I'm ready to go to bed. If I'm being honest, it's been a day. We also had our shipping software decided to act up a little bit. The shipping processor we use released an update, right, to improve things. And of course, there were lots of bugs. So had to do that too in the middle of the busiest shipping day we've ever had. Yeah, it was great. I'm ready to crash. The reward for excellent service, superb product, and hard work is only more work. Yes. No. Yeah, that's true. That's what we want. And we're growing, man. It's coming together. we're very happy with how things are going. Yeah, things are going great. And they're only getting better. Future's so bright, I gotta wear shades. All right. Scrolling here because chat jumped on me. Chat. Oh, I missed some viewer activity. Spinster Sister threw down a couple of super chats for us. Kohaku-swords in stock yet? I'm still in California. The Kohakus, let's see here, are not. They are currently battling Epistylus. So the Kohakus we have to clear from Epistylus before we can ship those out or list them for sale. We thought this batch would be clear. We kept a real close eye on them. And we were like, yeah, they're fine. Like every day, real close eye. And then one day came in, it's like, holy cow, where did that come from? Epistylus. So yeah, we're treating that right now. Tom, can I come pick them out in person? Fish? Yeah, I mean, we have to arrange it, but sure. N4279. Oh, wait. Can you pick them out in person? That all depends. Usually what we like to do is catch the fish and the person comes and picks them up. Depending on... I mean, if it's like a holiday, like we had this week, then maybe, and we can't ship that day, like we couldn't ship Monday because it was a holiday, then maybe it'd be like, yeah, maybe we could do something like that. But in general, our weeks are so packed that we really don't have time to do the thing where it's like, okay, you come in and you tell us, oh, I want that one, right? We really don't do that. If it's not a shipping day, it's a pulling day. If it's not a pulling or a shipping day, it's a let's take care of the bajillion and one things that have to be taken care of. Let's get all the bags made. We have specialized bags that we ship in that we have to make because we haven't found a manufacturer that does it reliably. We have to get all the boxes built, all the inserts done. We have to make sure the tanks are cleaned. There's a lot of stuff that we have to do, maintain the system. And we're a skeleton crew, so having a few hours to take to go around with someone and pull fish for them is a tall order for us on a normal week. And it's not that I don't want to do that. Like, that's the kind of stuff I love doing. But I know how much we have to do, and I know how much strain it puts on the team if we add more to the plate. W. Marion! So your question is highlighted for Dan. Oh, notifying someone that if they put in @DansFish or DansFish or #DansFish, it turns bright orange for me like this, and then I see it. And it looks like Traber's Tactics did it, so I can see yours. Oh, and I already responded to you. So we are going to go down to... Wait, is Chattanooga Ed here? Oh, Troy's saying hi. No. BJ Palmer's saying hi. Wait, no? What's happening? Someone's saying hi to Chattanooga Ed. Chattanooga, it's good to see you, Ed. I hope you're doing really well. If you're here, I miss you, my friend. Glad you're around. Mega Machamp. Mega Machamp? Mega Machamp. I'm picturing like a mother, like a mom, who's the mega champ. I don't know if that's right, but that's what I'm getting from that name. How large do the blue Calico Platies get? How about the dark red ones? Same size as far as I know. So what's the biggest female Platy? Like 2.5 inches would be a monster. Like that would be in a big tank, lots of water changes, lots of food, and lots of time. So I don't know, 2 to 2.5 inches. Dark red ones, probably the same. I don't think that our red calicos or dark reds are the teacup variety, but I really don't know because I've never kept them long enough to see if they would grow really big. We sell them, too fast for that to happen. So I guess a question I would have for everyone is, if you've bought the dark red platies from us, and it's been, I don't know, a long time, how big did yours get? Are they teacups? Did they stay small, or did they get some size to them? I suspect they probably get some size to them, but they do look teacupish to me. Do you think a platy would do okay in a brackish tank? Yeah, I do. It just depends on how brackish. But I think like 5 parts per thousand salt, something in that range, long term would be fine for a platy. Spoiled sushi. I just love that name. It never gets old. Like I see that name and like my nose automatically goes like, ugh, like just the smell of spoiled sushi. Woo! My tank is clear, fish seem happy, but I have high nitrates, low pH, no buffer, super hard well water, no nitrites, no ammonia. How can I balance this? Oh boy. So it seems like you have a nutrient source in there that's getting broken down a lot. So, but you have an established tank, so you're not getting ammonia nitrites. That stuff is being really quickly converted to nitrates. So I don't know what you mean by high nitrates. Like, I don't, is 10 high? Not to me, but maybe to you 10 is high. So I'm not sure exactly what the scale is, but if the nitrates are high, then there's 2 ways. There's lots of ways. You could go for like an agnostic, that's not it, anoxic filter system or something like that, or an anaerobic filter system, things like that. But that gets really tricky. So what I would suggest is 2 easy ways to do that. 1, plants can help. Plants will suck up nitrates. 2, got to change water. That's the only other way I know to do it. So those are my 2 suggestions that are, simple, without doing like a big plenum, or is that the word? Now I'm even doubting the word, but without doing one of the more complex things. Yeah, that's my thought. If anyone else has any ideas for spoiled sushi, please chime in, but I think water changes and or plants. Ow! FYI, I purchased 3 golden roseline sharks on December 3rd, 2021. The OGs for sure. No eye problems. They passed the last eye exam 2020. Purchased 2 LDA 33, is it 33? 33 snowball plecos on 9/17/21, doing great. That's awesome to hear. Yeah. Yoda Kraken. Did I remember that right? Yoda Kraken. I think I remember something about that, and Al or AI. I'm glad to hear they're doing well. I'm really glad to hear that long term they're thriving for you. That's the entire reason we're in business, to make that happen. And it might be a poor business decision because, when fish last a long time, you don't have to come buy more from me. But that's the change we want to make. I'm glad to hear that it's working in your case. Jamie Felix, 199. Oh, bought me a coffee because I'm tired. Thank you, Jamie. I really appreciate that. Oh, it's been a day. Blue, is it Hobbs or Hope? That would be Hobbs. Blue Hobbs. I'm moving soon and have never moved an aquarium before. Any tips for moving a tank? The Episto Panduro pair I got from you are thriving, and I want to keep it that way. Let's try to keep it that way, yes. So the easiest way to do it, if it's not a really large tank, I think, and if you're not moving too far, oh geez, there's so many ways to do this. Like, how far are you moving? What size is the tank? How long are they going to be in transit? So let's go over a couple different scenarios. There's a real easy one where you just drain the water down to there's only like a couple inches of water in the tank. That'll keep the system hopefully from crashing too much. You put a cover on that so it doesn't slosh around too badly in your car. You take the fish, you put them in like a 5-gallon bucket with a few inches of water in it, and maybe you have an air stone you can use, a battery operated air pump on an air stone, or a USB air pump that you can plug into your car somewhere, or something like that. So that is an easy way to do it. Barring that, so with that way, you probably kept a lot of the nitrifying bacteria alive in the tank and the gravel or whatever you have in there, and you didn't completely take this ecosystem apart, right? So the 2 challenges here are, how do I keep the ecosystem established in my aquarium, and how do I transport the fish? So those are two variables we're playing with here, right? If it's a really long move, then it gets tricky. Then you kind of have to take the tank apart and start from scratch. And the fish, though, if I was doing that, I would ship the fish to myself, to wherever they're going. I would pack them up just like I usually do, and I would ship them because I have a really good success rate doing that. And I think that that would be easier on me than trying to put them in buckets in the car or whatever. If it's, I don't know how long your drive is, but I think if it was long enough to be really stressful, I would want to not have that stress. I would just ship them. Of course, I know how to ship fish, so that makes sense for me. For you, if you don't know how to ship fish, then the only other option, I think, is if it's a really long drive, you've got to tear the tank down completely, I think. And I don't know, 5-gallon buckets with air stones in a car that's temperature controlled because you're in the car with them and you have air conditioning and all that. That can be a way to do it if you aren't comfortable shipping the fish, because you can keep an eye on them. You can keep an eye on the temperature. You can see how everyone's doing. So I guess those are the ways that I would think about doing it. So folks are probably going to ask me, why wouldn't you, on a long trip, try to keep the tank alive? And the answer is, I think it'd be very difficult. Nitrifying bacteria need a lot of oxygen to thrive. And so I think that it would be difficult to have a tank that you're trying to transport long term, you're putting the gravel in a bag or you're doing whatever, and have those nitrifying bacteria be okay on the other end. That being said, I've also heard that nitrifying bacteria can go into a dormant stage if it's not getting enough oxygen or if conditions are not ideal, in which case maybe you can just move everything over and it'll be fine. So not real sure on the science of that. I've heard it different ways on the nitrifying bacteria. Well, I feel like I gave you half of a helpful answer there, Blue Hobbs. Yeah. The way I've always done in the past, though, is I just ship the fish to myself. Okay. Do you have a fish friend where you're going? And do they have established tanks? And if so, will they give you like, a big scoop of gravel or something you could quickly run over and put in your tanks to get the system going again or something like that? That's another thing that could be helpful. All right, I'm going to move on. I feel like I spent a lot of time on that question and I don't feel like I did a good job. So I'm going to carry on here. There are 346 folks here watching. Thanks for being here, everybody. Really appreciate you spending a little bit of your Wednesday with us. If you wouldn't mind sharing this out to someone, let's try to grow the channel. We're trying to get over 30,000 subscribers, and we've got quite a ways to go for that. Bryce Martin. Hey, Dan, I have a group of 11 of the new orange hemigrammas. Okay, good. They're very hardy. Only thing I'm not a fan of is that only the dominant male gets a deep orange color, and it takes a while. Okay, that's good to know. I mean, usually in a group, though, I don't know. I don't know how many you have. If you have a group of 6 or something, I could see like only one getting color. If you keep large groups, though, that one of the advantages of large groups, oh, you have 11. I do know how many you have. The larger the group, the more males do feel like they can show their color. And so that might be a hack for that. If you had, 2 or 3 dozen or something, that might be a critical mass where they're like, okay, we're good, and they start coloring up. Now, I don't know that. I've only had mine for, a couple weeks at this point, and I haven't seen them color up yet. So, but that's good, Bryce. Thanks for sharing your experience with them, because I'm brand new to those. Lopez, dealing with flukes, and have done 3 Prezi Pro treatments back to back. Fish still flashing. Any tips? Johnny, what would we do? Flubendazole? Yeah, I would try flubendazole if the Prezi Pro treatments haven't worked. And also, what do you mean by Prezi Pro treatments? Did you just put it in overnight, wait a week, put it in again, or did you do like a week-long soak in the medicine? I'm not quite sure what your methodology is, but what we've found is if we do a week-long soak, then that is pretty helpful. But I believe in flukes is just a like a common name for multiple organisms, right? There's lots of critters that we call flukes. So sometimes you have to kind of customize the treatment for that critter. So just flukes is a little broad, but I would suggest flubendazole and like a week-long soak in it for flukes is what we would try here. I'm not a veterinarian, so I can't really give medical advice, but that's what we would try here, I believe, if Prozzy didn't work. And I'm asking Johnny to chime in if he's around. Johnny's had a heck of a day too, so, you know, I don't actually expect him to be here. But if he is, he can tell you better which medicine we use on that, because that's been his department for a while now. Kurt Bruttine. Do lyre-tail, swordtails, and Pseudomuga luminatus make good tank mates? Thank you. You and your team is the best in the hobby. Yeah, we're trying, man. We're actually not trying to be the best. We're just trying to make a difference. And turns out, to make a difference, you got to be the best at this point in time in our industry. I would say that it could be fine, but Pseudomuga luminatus doesn't get very big, and lyre-tail, swordtails do. So as long as the pseudomugals are big enough that you don't have any danger of the lyre-tails thinking, hey, that might be food, then you're probably okay. I think you could do a big group of Pseudomuga luminatus with a few lyre-tails. I wouldn't do the opposite, though. Just make sure the size is right. Like, luminatus don't get huge. Adam's Electric Universe, regarding the various red pencilfish, do you have females as well as males? And are any of them red also, or are they an easily identified brownish goldish? Thanks. Adam's Electric Universe, we are trying to unravel that. The information about the new types of pencilfish is, it's a mess. We've read some places that say the males and females look almost identical. We've read others that say we don't know what they look like, and others that say, no, they're all males in the hobby, and they're not collecting any of the females. So I don't know what to believe, to tell you the truth. If anyone here knows better than I do, please let me know, but only if you actually know. Like, let's not just repeat confusion, right? If you actually have a credible source or a way to be like, yeah, I'm sure because of this, then please let us know. But let's not just add to the rumor mill out there about these fish. Tracy S. I am seeing shiny spots on a few of my cories on the body. Not ick, not fin disease, not mouth, not ammonia, or any other water issue. They are not showing any signs of stress. Help. Well, Tracy, there are some cories that do get some iridescence on the body. So maybe that's all it is. I mean, let's hope, right? Besides that, I'm not sure. It's hard to tell. Shiny spots, you know, that could be lots and lots of things. But I'm hoping it's just the natural color of the fish. But I wouldn't know just from that description. I'd kind of have to be there looking at the fish with you to tell you the truth. I mean, hopefully it's not velvet. Look that one up. Hopefully they don't look like they're coated in copper. Okay, I'm scrolling up because chat jumped big time. Okay, now Mountaintop Puffer Keeper, hello, hope you're doing well. Been a member for 13 months. That's awesome. And by the way, we have finally come up with a plan of something we can do just for members. And I'm going to wait till we actually implement the plan, but it's probably not going to be more than a couple weeks before we start implementing the plan. We have been thinking about it, so I think we'll be able to add some value to the members. But anyway, Mountaintop Puffer Keeper says 13 months goes fast. Learning spotted Congo's 4 fry getting big. Learning. Spotted Congo puffers 4 fry are getting big. Added puffer projects, the POW ABI, I guess, and the one I can never say. Lurus, I'm going to go with. A 270 gallon is pending for a species arriving soon. 270. Fahaka? What you got? What's going on? Pardon me. I'm excited to find out. Oh, man, that's the first time I think I've coughed all night. It's much better. You know, I didn't even notice it got better till just now. It's funny. Trevor's Tactic says, first amazing info on the days. Thank you. I know I had one spot left in my order that's due on the 11th. Would I be able to add another fish to that order? If not, that's fine. You rock. Yeah, you can do that. You can email us and let us know what you want to do, and Johnny will direct you on the correct procedure for adding to your order. N4279. How do I, oh, and by the way, the email is hello@dansfish.com. That's HELLO@dansfish.com. How do I get my Amazon puffer to eat Repashy? Well, first of all, let's make sure that the puffer is healthy. So if you're having trouble getting it to eat anything, then it's not going to eat Repashy. If it's still at the point where it's like wants to eat, but it kind of doesn't swallow well and spits most of the food back out, like if you're going to feed bloodworms and it's like, I want to eat, but then it doesn't eat much and it starts having to spit them back out, then we've got to treat the fish first. So the first thing is, let's make sure the fish can eat well. If not, let's treat it. Let's get rid of the internal parasites and such that are keeping it from being able to swallow food, keep food down. Let's say that's all happened, and your fish is eating bloodworms just fine, and mysis shrimp just fine, and all that. It just doesn't want to eat its Repashy. It's a little bit picky. Well, then we do what I call exposure therapy, whereby I drop some Repashy in, say in the morning, leave it for a few hours, take it out, and then I give them their normal feeding in the evening. And I do that for several days in a row. It might take a week or two, probably not that long though. It's like it takes them a little while to realize it's food, but once they do, then they go right for it. So it generally doesn't take more than, I don't know, my guess is, in my experience, it's a few days, but give it a week or two. You're just exposing them to the food. You're not punishing them for not eating it because you're feeding them in the evening, their normal feeding. You're just getting them used to it. In my experience, that's always worked, as long as the fish is healthy enough to eat regularly. Procedural nodes. Yes, you're doing things right. Leads to success. Yeah, slowly but surely. I mean, sometimes I'm like, come on. Like, you know, you always want it to, oh, now the cough started. You always want it to go quicker than it's going, just because then you don't have to, like, you know, another worry to check off. But yeah, it's definitely going in the right direction. Troy Miller, Pseudomugil mellis availability. I have ordered more. We will see if they arrive. If they do, then probably mid-October I'll have some available, but it might just be like 10. Like, they are not available in large numbers. I ordered all that the breeder has. We'll see if I get lucky and end up with them or not. I'm trying. Jag Trader. How to set up a breeding tank for pencilfish. I don't know. I've never bred and raised pencilfish. I know TM Aquatics on YouTube has some videos where he talks about breeding. I think it's the Morton Thaleri, if I remember right. Could have been the purple pencilfish. But I myself don't have any experience with that, so I don't quite know how to direct you in that direction. I don't know how to be helpful. Trevor's Tactics. What's your goal with your YouTube and increased content level? What's the mission statement or elevator pitch for where you'd like it to go? Love everything you do. Well, the mission statement has been clear from the beginning, and it's this. We're trying to treat the fish humanely and make sure our customers get fish that they're successful with. That's it in a nutshell. What it is I got really tired throughout the years of friends coming over, seeing I kept fishing, being like, yeah, I used to keep fish, but they all died. Like, I heard that over and over and over and over through the years. And I was like, this is bad. The industry and the hobby would be huge if everyone that tried to keep fish was successful with it. So what's keeping them from being successful? Why are the fish dying? And so I figured it was two things. One, ignorance on the part of the keeper. If you don't know the basics of the nitrogen cycle, the odds that you're going to be successful are very low, right? So, but I think that generally fish stores do give the basics. And I think generally there's a lot of information on how to cycle an aquarium and start an aquarium out there. So that's only a small part of the problem. The other part of the problem, I realized after being in the industry for years at many different levels, is the supply chain. It's a dismal supply chain. It treats the fish like a commodity rather than a live animal that deserves respect. So the other big change we're making is tackling the supply chain, altering it, make sure the fish are sourced as humanely as possible, and working with suppliers to make sure that that constantly is improving. So we're trying to make sure the fish are sourced humanely, quarantined, taken care of, so that our customers always get healthy fish. So the real mission is change the narrative in the fish industry from I used to keep fish, but they all died, to I love my aquarium. When I get home from work, it's been a stressful day. I can sit down, I can watch it for 10 minutes. My blood pressure goes down. I can then be a better husband or father or friend or significant other or whatever your situation is, right? So that's our mission, to change that narrative. There's no easy way to say changing the narrative in the aquarium fish industry, even though that is our mission. You have to do a lot of backstory to explain that. So I usually explain it by saying we're here to source, maintain, and transport fish as humanely as possible so that our customers get healthy fish that they'll be successful with. That's kind of the easier way to say it, but it's not, it misses a lot of the, it's really, we want people to say, oh, you keep fish, I keep fish, I love my fish. That's what we want the narrative to be. Robert Canfield, what is a good tank mate for shell dwellers? That's a rough one. Shell dwellers, they be feisty. If you have a tall enough tank, though, you might be able to get some sips up there. Oh, Lamprichthys tanganyicanus, that's a really fast little killifish, so that's probably fast enough. Lamprichthys. These guys are probably fast enough that if you had a tall enough tank and they could stay up in the water column, that they would probably be okay with some shell dwellers. Giant Danios might do it. A large, fast fish that stays kind of up top. Larger hatchet fish might do it, but you definitely don't want something that is down in the lower half of the aquarium. You want something that stays up, and you need a tall enough tank that the shellies aren't going to feel threatened by whatever is up top, right? A low boy ain't going to cut it. You need some real height. So that's my thoughts there. Scrolling up here, and while I do, I see Xanadu throwing down a comment. Thanks for being a member for 13 months. Looks like, yeah, you guys are like the originals, right? Anyone that's been here for 13 months, I think that's as long as we've had memberships available. So thanks, Mountaintop and Xanadu and anyone else that's part of the Fishmonger crew for that long. That's awesome. Dan's fish are the best fish. Well, we really do try. We aren't perfect, but we feel good about the job we're doing. Let's put it that way. We really feel like we're making a difference. Okay, chat jumped, so here I go. Scrolling down. Looking for where it jumped from. There it is. Mountain Greenery says hello. Well, hello right back at you, Mountain Greenery. Hope you're doing fantastic. Northern Tide. Just broke down my summer CPD cherry shrimp tub. Only got 1 extra CPD and 2 to 3 extra shrimp, but found about a dozen damselfly larvae. Any tips for the next season for these guys? Yeah, pardon me. Cough's a lot better. Not quite all the way over, it seems like. So what I think that the solution there is some kind of net or mesh across the top that's fine enough that the damselflies can't get down to lay their eggs, and high enough above the water that they can't stick their tail down and drop an egg down into the water, right? So that's the only way I would know of to prevent damselfly larvae. Now, if you don't want to do that and you want to use a medication, you might be able to use Dimilin X. Oh no, you have cherry shrimp. That'll kill your shrimp. If you only have fish in a tub, then you can periodically dose with Dimilin X. You have to use, what some other folks have found is you have to use about 3 times the recommended dosage for it to be effective on scuds. But I've never tried it on damselfly larvae, but on scuds, 3 times the dosage was successful for at least one member of our community. They tried with lots of times and finally found that that was the trick for them. But you can do that, and it won't kill the fish, but it will keep the damselfly larvae from molting successfully. So eventually they'll die after they fail to molt enough. So, but, you know, chemicals, meds, you know, that can get a little messy. So mesh is probably the thing to try. Okay, I'm scrolling because chat jumped again. Big Shrimpin, aka Steve. See, hey, Big Shrimpin, hope you're doing well. Welcome to the Fishmonger crew. Thanks for becoming a member. Really appreciate it. That helps us a lot. All those memberships add up. And that little bit of recurring monthly revenue really does help a little startup business like us as we're trying to scale. Fish and outdoors with Lando. Well, my filters suck up sand. Will my filter suck up sand? Yeah, I mean, if a filter has suction on it and it's close to the sand, sure. Here's Aquatics and Reptiles throwing down a super chat. Thank you so much, Bob. Appreciate it. Always appreciated. As you know, never required, but it does make Brenda super happy when money falls out of the computer screen, so thank you. Blue Hobbs, thanks so much for answering my question on moving. My specific scenario is a drive that can be done in one day. Size is a 20-gallon long. Yeah, I would probably put about leave about an inch or so of water in the tank and put the fish in 5-gallon buckets with, you know, battery operated pumps for the air, something like that. I would get a little I don't know, I call them temperature guns, infrared temperature sensors, so you can periodically check the temperature in the buckets and make sure everything's okay. You know, even if your car's air conditioned, if the sun is shining directly on that bucket, it can be get a little hot. So you might want to shade them. And you can find buckets that have a screw on top. That's great. You just drill a little hole in the middle of the lid, you put the screw on top in, and then you have enough to kind of get your air stone and air line down there, but not so much that water's likely to splash out if you have an issue. If you leave an inch of water in the tank, I mean, hopefully you don't hit the brakes and have the water just go fall over you. That could happen. If you can find some way to like have a secure lid on it, that would be ideal. I don't know what that would be though. I guess a glass lid might be heavy enough in a lot of scenarios. But if you get enough water sloshing up, that could knock the glass lid off too. So I guess you'd have to be kind of careful with that too. So I don't know. But anyway, as you're driving around, that 1 inch of water will be sloshing around enough that it might keep the nitrifying bacteria that's in your gravel and stuff alive long enough to get it reestablished. I would definitely siphon out the gravel really well as you're lowering the water before your move, because what you want is the gravel with the bacteria colonies on it. What you don't want is all the mold and detritus that gets in there clogging the gravel, because that will keep oxygen from being able to flow down to the gravel and keep the nitrifying bacteria in good shape. And there's going to be tons of protozoans and little tiny microscopic critters in all that mold and gunk, and those are going to rob oxygen from the water column. So I wouldn't sterilize it, but I would siphon it, clean it as it were, siphon out the gunk for sure. It's the best I've got for you. Hope, geez, hope it helps. I don't feel like it's the ultimate answer, but I hope it gives you some ideas. Dom Gallagher, DNA snakes. I moved several tanks. Okay, good. Several tanks, 2 to 3 hours away. I put my bio media in the bucket with the airstone in the fish, had 0 death. Oh yeah, that's a good idea. You can put some bio media in the bucket and it's got the airstone, that'll keep it well oxygenated. Yeah, good idea. I guess just, you know, I'm picturing like bio wheels, like sloshing around smashing fish. But if it's like gravel in the bottom or something like that, then that might work. Robert Canfield, what can I put in with my shell dwellers? I think I already did that one. Oh yeah. Wow. Chat jump again? Mel Wool, love the channel, keep it up. Hey, thanks. Thanks for being here. Thanks for participating. Without you guys here participating, it really wouldn't work, right? Sorry, I need a quick drink. Jamie Felix, random, I know, but do you watch football? And if so, what's your favorite team? I watch football. I don't watch it religiously. My daughter plays volleyball. My son plays tennis. So I watch a lot of a lot of other sports besides football, right? But yeah, we like football. Basically, we watch whatever's on. We don't have any, I mean, we're in the middle of Wyoming. There's no like real team here. You got the team down in Denver and stuff, but there's no like hometown feel to it. So I just root for whoever. I usually choose the underdog because it's fun. Or whoever my kids choose, I choose the opposite because then we get a little, you know, rivalry going. You know, that's fun. But no, I'm not married to it, but I enjoy it every now and then. I don't watch a lot though. I don't have a lot of time to do it. Leo29 Aquatics says it's a secret. Not sure what's a secret, but shh. Jason Betts says, are there types of fish food that help to enhance blue colors in fish? Probably, but I don't know them. I know red colors, but I don't know about blue colors. Sorry, I was watching a guppy over here. It looked like it might have been piping at the surface, but it wasn't. It was just going up to like see if there was some food up there, and then it swam back down. So we're okay. Troy Miller says, thank you. Can we pre-order? We don't do any pre-orders. I'm sorry. What you can do is if you go to dansfish.com and Mellis, if you click this button, add to wish list, then the moment they're added back in stock, you will get an email notifying you that they're now available. So we can do that. We don't do any pre-orders or anything. Just trying to keep track of all that stuff. And then if they don't come, now we've got to figure something out. Or if they come, but they arrive in bad shape and don't make it, now we've got to figure something out. It's just, that would take a whole person to keep track of all that. We just don't have that kind of manpower right now. Aaron Eustace, throwing down a super chat of $9.99. Aaron, thank you so much. Thank you for your generosity. Much appreciated. The Real Chimera. Will you be getting more clown killifish? I love those little dudes. I have a problem with clown killifish. I can't keep them alive, and I don't know why. Before I moved to Wyoming, I kept and bred lots of clown killifish. Since moving here, I cannot keep them alive, and I've tried lots of different suppliers. I've tried hobbyists who raise them. They don't work for me. I don't have a clue why, but I decided that I'd killed enough and it wasn't fair to them to keep trying. Now that we've had a vet work with us for several months, and we had a vet in residence over the summer, I have an idea of a medication cocktail I can try. And so I might try one more small group of clown killies, try that medication cocktail on them and see if that works. And if it does, then maybe I can start bringing them in again. But if it doesn't, I'm out of ideas. Like, I hate to admit it. It makes me feel like a hard failure, but for some reason, I can't keep them alive in Wyoming. No idea why. It's still a secret, but I'll email you a clip once the resident, oh, that's the secret, of the 270 arrives. Awesome mountaintop. I can't wait to see. Jamie Felix, I won your giveaway for the albino carbensis. Well, they had babies, and now I got too many. What do I do with them? I want to add different types of fish, but the cribs take over in a 45-gallon. Because you have so many. Like, generally, cribs are a peaceful enough fish that you can keep lots of species with them. But if you're saying I've got so many, they're taking over. Well, you could try to sell them at getgills.com. If you have a local fish club, you could take them there. You could go to your local pet store and say, hey, I've got this beautiful group of albino carbensis I'm raising up. Can we do a trade for some food or something? Or there's always Craigslist and Facebook groups. Oh, you can't advertise in Facebook groups anymore, can you? There's always Craigslist and other social media outlets where you can tell people about them. But congrats on all the babies. I guess that's a good problem to have. I wish I had a better, like, local fish clubs, I think are awesome for that kind of thing. I'm glad they're doing well enough to have given you tons of babies. That's pretty cool. We found some babies in our tank, and they're like a few survived that are now, like, I don't know what they are, like 1.5 inches or so. grown up quite a bit. Big Shrimpin', I think this is one of the few channels I feel memberships pay off. Easy access to fish. Oh, thanks, Big Shrimpin'. And we're about to do more for members. So BT Dunks should work on damselfly larvae, says Paul Soltero. I don't know what BT Dunks is. I'm gonna look it up. Let's take a quick field trip, shall we? What is BT Dunks? Oh, mosquito dunks. What is this? Okay, I didn't have a clue what that was. So I'm guessing that's not something you put in the water. I'm guessing that's something you keep around so that it repels the insects, but I know nothing about it. But I'd be careful putting that in the water, right? Paul, is that what you do? I am assuming you just keep it around to repel them, not in the water. But let me know if I'm wrong. Ira Nelson, fish room is back, starting slow but back up. Ira, that's great news. I hope it goes really well for you. I'm glad to hear that. Fish rooms are amazing. Fish and outdoors with Orlando. Well, I might go no filter and give that a chance. Yeah, up to you. There's many ways to do things. Tyler Brown, is there a way to prevent swim bladder issues in goldfish? So I don't know much about goldfish. That's a fish I've done very little with. But yeah, I'm going to keep it there. I would refer you to a channel called Luke's Goldies. Check out Luke's Goldies on YouTube. Tons of information on goldfish, including, I believe, some videos on swim bladder. I think, oh, what was her name? There's another goldfish channel. She hasn't been doing it for a while, though. Had white hair on one side, like black hair on the other. Solid Gold. I think Solid Gold Aquatics or Solid Gold Goldfish is what it was called on YouTube. I believe she did some stuff with swim bladder as well, but I don't know that much about it. Piscine Pastimes, that's a great name. I have a countertop by a large window at my workplace. I think a tank under 20-gallon long could fit. What are some hardy recommendations for office fish? So really hardy, I think you couldn't go wrong with a group of like white clouds and gold white clouds together. That'll give you some variety. Easy fish, colorful. You can get a decent number in a 20 long. And so you'll have a nice, group of small fish doing their thing. So that's one suggestion. If you're looking for hardy and will do well, they could take temperature fluctuations, etc. So I think that's a good one for an office. CW111 members get first dibs. I don't know if I'm getting them. I don't know if I'm going to be able to bring those in. They have very few available. So Jeff, don't get your hopes up too much, okay? See, this is why I should never talk about fish I'm planning to get. I'm pretty sure the CW111s are not going to arrive. So, sorry. I generally have a rule where I don't talk about what fish we have available until they're actually available, just because it's so bad to talk about a fish and people get excited, and then when it doesn't work out, there's a letdown. And what I try to do really hard in business is never give a customer or community member or viewer or whatever that letdown feeling. But sometimes I get really excited about a fish and I break my rule. And sometimes this happens where people are like really excited, and then I'm like, actually, it looks like they're not coming. So, I never learn though. Sometimes I just get too excited. Alphonse Pizzo, what's your favorite food for discus? Variety. I like a rotation. So I like frozen brine shrimp. I think that has enough roughage on it that you can feed lots of frozen brine shrimp and not worry about giving them bloat. So for like a base diet, I think frozen brine shrimp is pretty awesome. I think you can supplement with frozen bloodworms, frozen mysis shrimp. There's nothing wrong with pellets and algae wafers and stuff to give them some variety, some flakes. So they'll take a wide range. So honestly, I think variety is important. But if you're like, I only have the ability to do a couple, then I think a base of frozen brine shrimp's really safe. And I'd supplement that with like algae wafers or flakes or something, so you get a little veggie and maybe one or two other things. But yeah, the more variety, the better. Okay, we've only got 10 minutes left. There are 371 folks here. That is pretty good. If y'all wouldn't mind taking a moment to like and subscribe, if you feel so inclined, we're really trying to grow the subscriptions up over 30,000. And we're getting there, but we've got a ways to go, so your help would be appreciated. All right, Leo's letting me know the secret was about Mountaintop Puffer Keeper's puffer. Yep. Troy Miller, thank you. Keep up the great content. We'll keep it up. And thank you for being here and participating in what I hope is somewhat decent content sometimes. Well, great sounds, yeah, I'm no Mr. Beast, let's put it that way. Trevor's Tactics, do you have any plans to add additional North American natives? They seem hard to come by other than a couple places. Yeah, like Jonah's Aquatics has them, but they have a limited variety. They have a decent variety, though. Yeah, I love North American native fish. There was a time when I kept and bred lots of different ones. So when I find them available, I bring them in. The issue is they're not available very often for me. Like, as a hobbyist, I could source lots. I could go to the members of NANFA, and I could find out who's got some of these, and I could get a little group and breed them. Right? That's easy. But as someone who has to sell fish as a business, trying to get them in large enough numbers to make the transaction work and make the tank we're going to dedicate them worth the space, that's a different story. So when I can, I do. So, but yeah, they're not available. They're hard to come by for you. They're also hard to come by for me in a way that makes sense for business. Dragon Layer, hey, good to see you. Dan, BT is bacteria that only infects mosquito larvae, might infect other insect aquatic larvae as well. Okay. Yeah, again, first I had heard of it was when Paul Soltero mentioned it a minute ago. So that's interesting to know, though. What's the difference between platies and mollies? There's actually quite a lot of difference. They're completely different genuses. Mollies are more closely related to guppies. They're both posilids, or Posilia is the genus of both of them. Platies are more closely related to swordtails. Xiphophorus is the genus. So they're both live bearers, but they're not as closely related as you might think based on how similar they are in appearance. Now the care, though, is about the same for both. I would say the main difference is in the aquarium. I think it's easier to keep platies marginally because they're a little less aggressive than mollies. Sometimes if you don't have the inhabitants of the tanks and the right ratios and things, a big male mature molly can be aggressive to other fish. However, if you keep mollies in a decent sized group, then they keep that among themselves and it turns into beautiful displays, beautiful dominance displays. But if you only have a single male molly in a tank and there's other types of fish in the tank, he might chase them and be somewhat aggressive. Whereas platies, I think that's less likely. Kayla's Aquatics and Reptiles asks, will Miss Hodnett be resuming her performances this fall? I'm not sure exactly. She's working really hard on her writing stuff right now. And our kids have got so involved in stuff that it's kind of everything she can do to keep up, honestly. So I'm not sure exactly what her plans are. She's producing a magazine right now. I think the first edition of that will be coming out. I don't know exactly what her timeline is, but she's making good progress on it. And she's really working hard on the book stuff at the moment. And now that school's in session, like the kids are like super, well, the kids kept us really busy over the summer too. But so I don't know, Bob. That's not a no. I honestly don't know. My guess is maybe, like, just seeing how busy she is, I'm not sure if she'll be able to pull it off. Mr. B, CPDs, when you order fish, how much influence does the wish list have? Oh, a lot. So I go to the wish list when I order fish and I look and I'm like, I can sort it by the most to the least. So I start and I'm like, what are the fish that has the most requests on the wish list? And if that's available, I'm darn tootin' I'm getting it, right? So I try to make that a priority. Now, the fish that everyone wants on the wish list aren't always available, so I can't always actually order it, but that definitely guides my process a lot. I want to bring in fish that my customers want to buy. That just makes good sense. Now, I don't buy every fish from every supplier though. So sometimes I'm ordering from a supplier and they might have the fish that everyone wants, but I know not to buy it from that supplier. I know that supplier doesn't do a good job with that fish. So, you know, there's all that to consider. But yeah, it definitely guides my purchases. Coro works theoretically. How much bigger would your facility have to be to breed some of your own stock, say 10 to 20% of your sales? Have not crunched those numbers at all, so I don't know. Survival of the fishiest. Well, what kind of has to happen is everything has to be going smoothly, and then I can step out and start a breeding project. So I don't know how much of it has to do with size of warehouse versus scaling what we already have for that to happen. So I really don't know. Now back to survival of the fishiest. The mosquito dunks are for like buckets or freestanding water. They go in the water. We're not sure how they work with fish. Jenny from Solid Gold Aquatics. She's my fish crush. Yeah, that's it. Jenny from Solid Gold Aquatics. White and black hair. She hasn't produced content regularly for a long time, but there's still probably something out there. Okay, Paul says they're put into the water and are completely fish safe. It's made from Bacillus, whatever the name of that bacteria is, hence the BT. Okay. All right. Well, we are at 8:27. So guess what, folks? We have killed another live stream. We're at the end. It's time to do the giveaway for some awesome blue coral Calico Platies. One of my faves. I love these fish. They're just bright and beautiful. And we have currently 296 eligible entries out of 380. So that's pretty good. The winner is Grains of Sand. Grains of Sand, congratulations. You have won. You have 2 minutes to chime in. Let us know you're here. I'm going to set my timer for 2 minutes. I think. Why won't it let me? Okay. 2. Okay, weird. Oh, my numlock isn't on. There we go. Yeah. Sometimes I'm not the brightest crayon in the box. Jeez. Duh. Anyway. Oh, Grains of Sand has already commented. They are here. Super cool, says Grains of Sand. Well, congratulations. Thanks for playing. Please send us an email to hello@dansfish.com. That's HELLO@dansfish.com. We need your first and last name. We need your mailing address, and then we can get to you and figure out when to send the fish to you. So please reach out through email so we can finalize that. That was the quickest anyone's responded, I think, to winning the giveaway in a long, long time. So that's awesome. Troy Miller, any tips on keeping Sulawesi shrimp? This is the last one, and then we'll shut her down. Yes. So our colonies of Sulawesi shrimp are booming. Mature tanks is my best advice. Wait till the tank's been established and up and running for a long time, and probably add fish in it and stuff. Like it's a mature ecosystem with life in it. You've got the algae, you've got the biofilms growing around on every surface. Lots of surface area is helpful. Wood is helpful. They like to pick off the wood. I also keep Java moss in there, so there's tons of surface area on that for them to pick at. Other than that, we don't do anything special. The water parameters are kept good. There's no ammonia or nitrite in our system, and the nitrate doesn't build up because it's constant flow through. So we keep the water really clean, but we keep them at 79 degrees. We don't keep them way up in the 80s, mid 80s or something like some sources tell you have to. Haven't had that issue, and they're like booming in population and have been for several generations. So I think that's safe to say that's not a requirement. Now, our water is hard and alkaline, lots of calcium carbonate hardness in our water. And the habitats they come from are hard and alkaline water. So I've never tried, is that true? I don't think I've tried Sulawesi type shrimps that I can remember in soft water. So I don't know exactly what the experience would be in soft water, but if you have hard water, a well-established tank, some wood, lots of surface area in the form of like Java moss, maybe some rocks and stuff, yeah, you're probably good to go. And most water sources in the United States are hard water. Almost all city water is supplemented by wells and reservoirs that have a lot of hardness to them. So I think they're a natural fit for most aquariums in the United States. We found them to be super hardy. We feed them fish food, like a variety of different sinking pellets and wafers and stuff. There's nothing they won't eat. So, oh, we keep snails with ours too. I don't know if that's necessary, but is it true that all of our Sulawesi shrimp colonies have snails in with them? I don't know that for sure, but I have read that snails are helpful because snail poop is something that the Sulawesi shrimp like to browse on. I don't know for sure if that's true, but we do have snails with our tanks, with our Sulawesi shrimp. Now going back, I wish I'd left the whole snail thing out because, again, I think we just found that from one source. So I don't know the veracity of that. Anyways, with that little bloop, we're going to end this. Thanks for being here, everybody. Thanks to my moderators for modding. Really appreciate y'all. Thanks for everybody that's a member of the Fishmonger crew. Thanks for being a member of the channel. Really helps out. If you threw money at us in the super chats, thanks for throwing money at us. It's very helpful. We appreciate it. We're a company that's growing. We're trying to grow. We're trying to make a difference, and every dollar is helpful at this stage. Like, really. So thank you. If you were active in the chat, thanks for participating. Really appreciate it. If you're lurking, hail the Lurker Nation. If you're watching on the replay, hello from the past. And if you're listening to the podcast, thanks for listening. We'll be back next week, same bat time, same bat channel. We have a video featuring all the new fish coming out tomorrow, and more new fish will be available tomorrow as well, and hopefully we'll have pictures up soon. So with that, have a good one. Bye-bye.